Welcome to Raising Confident Readers, the Vision Reading Academy podcast, where science meets story and reading takes on a whole new dimension. I'm Crystal, founder of Vision Reading Academy and a research scientist with a passion for decoding how the brain and eyes work together to unlock learning. Around here, we don't do fluff. We dive into real strategies, real results, and the fascinating science behind how kids learn to read, think, and thrive. This isn't vision therapy, and we're not handing out prescriptions, but we are breaking down brain-based tools and research-backed methods that actually help. So whether you're a parent, educator, or just wildly curious about how vision connects to learning, you're in the right place. Let's get nerdy, let's get practical, and most of all, let's get kids thriving. Hey guys, welcome back to Raising Confident Readers. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, make sure you go back and start there first. In that episode, we talked about how so many struggling readers fall through the cracks, why grades don't always tell the full story, and how parents often know something is wrong long before they get answers. In this second half of the conversation, we dive even deeper into the real-life stories, but going a little more personal. The coaches share their own stories, not as coaches, but as moms who were desperately trying to help their own children. The struggles, the frustrations, tears, and guilt that came with watching their children struggle to read and not knowing why. If you've ever sat at the kitchen table wondering why your child can't remember a word they just read, or if you've questioned whether you're doing enough, or if you felt completely exhausted trying curriculum after curriculum with little progress, this conversation is for you. We talk about the moments that led each of us to search for answers, the frustration, the guilt, the breakthroughs, and the moments that changed everything, and why having someone in your corner who believes in your child can make all the difference. If you've ever felt alone in your child's reading journey, we hope this episode reminds you that you're not. There are answers, there is hope, and there are people who understand exactly what you're going through. Let's jump back into the conversation.
So my daughter had glasses because we knew something was wrong with her eyes. She was getting headaches all the time, just like you were describing. She was struggling reading, and I didn't know where to go. I didn't think she had dyslexia, but I didn't know what was going on. But then I knew Crystal from a previous homeschool group years ago, and I saw her post on Facebook about VRA. And I was like, well, nothing else I'm doing is working, so let's give it a try. And we did the assessment and got on with Coach V. And after, a few months with Coach V, she didn't need glasses. She wasn't getting headaches anymore. And more, her confidence, she started going up and up and up. And she's a fantastic reader now. She just read Harry Potter in about a month, the whole series, not just a book, but the whole series in about a month. And she loves reading. That's what she does a lot of the day now. But we worked through all those struggles and put in the work and put in the effort because we started seeing that it was working and that she could really benefit from doing all of the things. And so those were our pain points: glasses, headaches, not being able to read. And now she's pretty close to grade level. So it's been great.
So my daughter went through kindergarten. It was the year of the pandemic, and we had just gone through kindergarten, and we had noticed that she was not really able to identify a lot of the sight words that they had worked so hard to go through that kindergarten year. And we were wondering a little bit more of what was going on. We ended up deciding to homeschool that year after just being really frustrated with everything that was going on at that year. And we would sit down and do first level reading, and we would spend all day trying to just chunk out a few sentences. And it got to the point where she would successfully read that sentence. And then maybe 5 minutes later, we were like, yay, let's show Dad how well you did. And she couldn't read it again. She couldn't identify any of the words. We had experienced some headaches with her. So we're thinking maybe she just needs glasses, maybe she's not able to see. But even her doctor wasn't able to see that there was any misshaping of her eyes or anything that we should be concerned about. So they prescribed glasses thinking, well, maybe this will help with the headache and maybe this will help with the straining, but it still didn't do anything for her reading. And it wasn't until another coach had mentioned that maybe she just needs to look at this Vision Reading Academy as an option. Maybe there's just something going on with her eyes. And sure enough, there was so much strain in her eyes. She wasn't able to hit a focal point for anything. And a matter of maybe 3 months of doing exercises, she was able to read so well. I remember her very first time that she raised her hand in Sunday school to read out of the Bible. That was probably the highlight of this entire program. It was so cool. So tears. It was cool. But yeah, she's at grade level now. We can't go into any library or bookstore without her wanting to buy the whole shelf. So she reads for fun and she loves to tell us everything she's reading. And yeah, it's been wonderful. I'm very grateful.
So my son, he was going into 5th grade and he couldn't read. I've homeschooled the whole time. We switched all the curriculums. We did all the things. We went to the eye doctor. They're like, oh, he's fine. We were at each other all the time because I'm like, why aren't you trying? And he's like, I am trying. And I'm like, well, it doesn't look like it. So there's a lot of that mom guilt because I didn't know something was wrong. And sorry, I'm going to start crying. So it was such a hard struggle for so many years. But then somebody told me about this program and I was like, I don't care. Something's got to give. We're going to do whatever we have to try to figure out what's wrong because something is wrong. And it was his left eye didn't move when he did the assessment at all. His eye just didn't do anything. So we went through the program and I mean, he went from kindergarten reading level to 5th grade within, I think it was 6 months. It was just a game changer. Like the Bible readings, it was like his birthday cards. He was like, oh my gosh, Mom, I read my birthday cards. That felt so good. And every time we play Monopoly, he still grabs all the cards to read them, no matter whose turn it is. But it was really hard because I'd homeschooled his brother and he didn't really start reading until 3rd grade. So I was like, okay, we'll catch up. We'll catch up. Like Crystal was saying, oh, go catch up. They'll catch up. All the homeschooling chat forums, all the things. Oh, he'll catch up. He'll catch up. And when he didn't, we got to that point. I'm like, something's wrong. And then we went through another year of starting over and it still wasn't clicking. I'm like, I don't understand why he's not getting these basic words like cat, bat, whatever. It was hard. So anyway, this program changed our lives 100%. So that's my pain point.
Hey guys, before we continue, I want to let you know that for a limited time, Vision Reading Academy is offering free assessments for children who are struggling with reading or learning challenges. If you've been wondering why school feels harder than it should for your child, this is a great opportunity to get clarity and a plan. Visit visionreadingacademy.com to book your free assessment before our spots fill up. Now back to the episode.
So Coach Jess and I, we have similar stories because my daughter, she did public school kindergarten. COVID happened. We came home and I was nervous because I've never actually taught any of my kids to read because public school did that for me. And I was always very adamant about reading to my children and incorporating reading as something that's very passionate in our house overall. And my first 2 kiddos, they just took off immediately. And then for my middle, it was a struggle and it was a lot of the pain point for patience for me because I'm like, we just read this. Like I would show her the word that she just read and then come back and I'm like, it's the same word. She's like, I don't remember what it is. And our biggest pain point is when we would write. The reading was really difficult, but the writing was a bigger struggle than the reading because one, it took her forever to write a letter. I compare it to the Zootopia sloth Flash, where he's like, everything's like, I would sit there and like watch her write a word and I'm like, I cannot sit here any longer. Like I'm frustrated with the amount of time that's taking her to write a single letter and single word. And associating that to her reading, she would choke out the word, and then she would read the word, and then she would reread the sentence, and then we get the whole sentence. And then she would read the sentence again. And I'm like, you got everything correctly. What are you doing? She's like, well, I'm reading it until it makes sense. And I'm like, huh, okay. So it gave me a little bit more information. Like, why is this so hard for her to comprehend what she's reading when she's getting all the words right and she's reading them as she's going along? Then just the mere effort it would take for her, she would do really good for like 1 to 2 sentences. And then after that, it was like just a fight and tears and frustration. I have to compare to Coach Crystal. There was good cop, there was bad cop. There was super patience and let's try to get through the whole page. And there was, why is this not working? What is going on? And our biggest pain point that led us to VRA was we moved to a state that requires standardized testing, and we had never had to do that before. And they gave us a prep test to help prepare them what to expect for the test, which I was grateful for because they had never taken a test like that before. And my older two, the test is supposed to take 30 minutes just to give them an idea of what's going on. And they did their practice tests, moved on to my middle kiddo, and it took us 3 hours to get the 30-minute test done because I was having her read every question and every answer. I had seen Vision Reading Academy through one of my friends that I went to high school with. Her daughter went through the program, and I was seeing all these little things that she was posting, and it was in the back of my mind. And after that test, I was like, I'm contacting them. And thankfully, that day, I had Crystal answer my message, and she's like, I have an opening right now. So within like an hour, I had an assessment, and we signed up automatically. But we took a longer path. She didn't love doing the exercises. It was hard. Her eyes would start watering. It took us a long time to get to the point where we were comfortable is not the right word, but consistent, just to make sure that we weren't crossing that frustration, because every time I pulled out the pencil to do exercises, we were at frustration. And so it took us a slow and steady pace. And so we were in the program for over a year. And once we got to the point where she got confidence and knowing that she could read and her eyes were strong enough to do it, that's when it took off, when the confidence aspect for her was high enough for her to understand, I can do this and I'm comfortable with it. And the aha moment was we have a intense grammar study that we do with our homeschool program at our co-op, and she would never volunteer to read her paper. And prior to, she would dictate her paper to me. I would write it out for her. And then she would never volunteer to read it in class ever. She would just kind of sulk in the corner and slink down. And she shot her hand up one day and she was like, I want to read it. And she got up in front of her class and read her paper. And I was in tears. So that's her story.
My story is very similar. I feel like there are similar pain points for all of us. In my daughter's case, she had always been homeschooled because I had pulled my kids also after the pandemic. I had always wanted to homeschool them, but we weren't in a situation before that. But it was so painful when we went from public school to online school. And it was a 9-to-5 job for me, trying to manage my 3 kids at the time, trying to do the online school and doing all the meets and all the things. And they didn't learn anything during those couple of months. And I was like, if we homeschooled, we'd be done in a couple of hours. I could work with each of my kids. We'd actually accomplish something. It was such a mess that it was like, it's time. And so I had told them, but my daughter had always been homeschooled. And I tried numerous curriculums. And by the time she was in 2nd grade, I really didn't pick up on the fact that she was like not reading very well, because she would do her exercises, the different worksheets or the different grammar or phonics or whatever she was doing. She would do those different exercises well, but then when she'd go to read, it was painfully slow. And to the point where a lot of the moms have been saying, I would just be like, it totally felt like the slop on Zootopia. I was just dying because I have 5 kids and I've got to sit with all of them. And I don't have the time to go that slow. And she also would not remember the word. She would have sounded it out and chunked it out. And finally we got to that word and it's in the next sentence below. And it's like she'd never seen it before. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? Maybe it's a different curriculum.
but we'd already done several curriculums. But at this point, I'm failing my child. In my mind, I'm failing my child. I've done everything I can think of. And even though I have a college degree, I was not taught how to teach someone else how to read. So it's like, why is this so hard? Why is this so hard? And I'm getting frustrated with her. And I didn't like who I was becoming as a mother with my child, because I know we've got to do it, but I'm already frustrated. And my frustration, I felt like, was being directed at her. But my frustration, if we're being very honest, my frustration was with myself, because I didn't know what to do. I had done everything that I knew to do. I tried everything. And I was at a place where I had failed. And that was so painful, because I knew that her future was dependent on my ability to help her succeed. And I was failing her. And I had the advantage of the fact that I was already friends with Crystal, and I actually didn't know what she did, which is really funny. I knew she was a research scientist. I knew she'd worked in a hospital, but we were talking just real life. We were just good friends. And she kept talking about students. And I was like, you're a scientist. What students, what are you doing? And she's like, have we ever talked about what I do? I'm like, no. I'm like, how have we avoided this topic for a long, long time? It's been a couple of years at this point. We've been friends. And she told me, and I was like, are you kidding me right now? She's like, let's assess your daughter, because I was complaining to her about I'm failing my child. She can't read. She can read, but it's so painful, and I don't know what else to do. And that's where it came up. So sometimes we have to be willing to be vulnerable and put out there what our struggles are in order to actually find what we need, because there are other people, I can guarantee you, other people are also struggling, or they have been in your shoes. If you're willing to share, it should never embarrass you that your child is struggling, because that's not your fault. That's not their fault. Oftentimes there is possibly another solution or a reason or something like that, but you won't know it if you don't be vulnerable and share. I'm really struggling. My child is struggling. What more can I do? How can I help? It's amazing the people that will come out of the woodwork and say, my kid was struggling too. We did this and it worked. Maybe that doesn't work for your kid, but there will be something. There will be something. So we have to be vulnerable, and we have to share and ask for help. So,
Hey, just a quick heads up. Everything we share here at the Vision Reading Academy podcast is based on real life experience and solid research, but we're not a medical program. We don't do vision therapy or optometry, and nothing we say should be taken as medical advice. If you've got concerns about vision or health, definitely check with a licensed professional.
the only way. But anyway, we started the program and it was painful. But like some of the coaches shared, after she had been in the program for at least a year, possibly a little longer, because we were on the struggle bus too, getting her to do she's a very stubborn child, getting her to do the eye exercises. She didn't want to do them because they were hurt. It hurts her. She had a lot of muscle weakness and a lot of myofascial tension. And so it was not a pleasant thing for her. And it was something that we didn't fight about it, but getting her to do it, and I really had to incentivize her. I really, really had to work with her just to get her to do it. But she saw the double vision, the overlap of letters. And she was like, Mom, that's how it always used to look. To her, that was normal. That was just something she was used to. She never knew that wasn't normal. How could she? And she also didn't have the ability to tell me that's what she was seeing. It's really hard for me to see letters or the individual words. I don't know how. I can't make sense of it. Her brain was having to decode every single word and try and figure out what was going on when there was just this overlap of letters, and it was a mess to her brain. So understanding that, being able to have a solution, she's now an incredible reader. She's reading so beautifully. She understands what she reads. The world is like her oyster now. And it's all because we found a solution. We have a solution. And the cool thing is there's free assessments. So I just tell anyone and everyone, if your kiddo is struggling, it's worth ruling this out. It's free. Come check it out and see. Let's rule it out. At the very least, it's not their solution. Cool. Then maybe there's something else for you. But if it is, we're here to help. And all of us coaches have had a child go through the program. We understand those pain points. We understand what it's like to have a child struggling. We understand the pain points of being the parent who really struggled to feel like we're failing our kid because we did all the things. And why is this not happening? To we saw the miracle. And now we want to help other kiddos. We want to help other moms. We want to help other dads. We want to help the world just open up for them. So yeah, I think we can all relate. We all have very similar pain points, similar stories. And I think that there's so many people we can help that don't even know that we're here. So that's why we're doing this.
That is
I want
why.
to add. Oh, sorry.
I want to add one more thing with the pain points. So with all of us having children that went through the program and having these pain points, even when we do the assessments and the parents are talking about the struggles that they're going through and their own pain points with their child, and they realize that they're not alone, we can relate to them and we're like, yep, been there on both sides. So we did these pain points with our child. And as a parent, we are also understanding like that guilt on our side, feeling like we're not doing enough or we didn't catch it or I missed something. And being able to relate, not just help the kiddo in strengthening and being able to move on to be able to read, but also connecting with those parents to be like, you have someone in your corner to walk alongside you in this struggle. We're here for both of them. And that has been a huge blessing too. And working with some of these kiddos is just walking alongside with these moms and seeing the excitement of their kids growing. It's been pretty special.
Well, and I think to add to that too, at least for my daughter, is just having Coach V believe in her. Gosh, Christine, why'd you have to start this? And just be that cheerleader that's not mom and just have someone who she just looks forward to meeting with and cheers her on and has nothing but positive things to say is so good because these kids have worked so hard and struggled so hard and they know that they're behind or whatever it is, they feel that. And then their confidence has gone so far down. But having a coach who's not mom or just someone to believe in them and even just hopping on assessments with Miss Crystal is another cheerleader. I think that is a huge part too, is having someone else in their corner to cheer them on and keep them going. Well, and also sometimes the progress is slow. And because that progress is slow, we as coaches and the assessors, we see the progress. But it's like when you lose weight, it's so gradual that sometimes you're like, I feel like I don't look any different. I just don't feel like anything is happening. And the people who are watching, they're like, are you kidding? I see. That's what we provide as a coach and as assessors is that we see those big changes and we recognize them and we're cheering them on. And so I think that's the most beautiful part is even having a child in a program. And it's not me saying, oh my gosh, that was amazing. Look what you did. It's someone else. And someone else sees them. Someone else sees the greatness in them. Someone else sees the potential in them. And they're like, oh, I can't do this. They can't do this because they know mom loves them unconditionally. They know it's almost like mom's love it's something that they take for granted probably, but they know they always have it. And so sometimes they don't value mom's opinion. They don't value mom's cheering them on. It's when someone outside sees them and says, I see you. I see your potential. Look what you just did. I'm celebrating, even if it was a second faster. They're getting celebrated. We're constantly pouring love into them and helping them build their confidence and pointing out to them, look, this is where you were a month ago. Look what you just, this is so good. And as they continue to progress, it's a snowball effect. It may be a little slow at first, but then it gets faster. They start casting off things faster. Their speed increases. Their eyes get stronger. That gaze point it starts coming together better. All of the things keep improving and things start happening more rapidly. And it's like, do you know that took you 3 months to do before, but you did that in 3 days? They sometimes don't see that progress and they need that cheerleading. They need that outside, you just lost 30 pounds. Are you kidding? They need that reassurance that they're really making a difference because they keep acclimating to their progress. And that becomes their new normal, and they forgot where they started. And it's the most beautiful thing to watch as a coach. And I'm sure as an assessor, as you continually see their eyes get stronger and that they're moving more smoothly and better, they're coming together better. And it's such a big deal. I know you don't see it yet, but it's ironic to use the word see when we're talking about vision and eyes, but we don't see it yet, but I see it. And I see what you're doing, and also recognizing their work. I can take credit for my students' successes because I just give them the tools. They do the work. They do the heavy lifting. They're the one going to the gym. I'm just the one telling them what to do at the gym, but they're the one actually lifting the weights. They're the ones actually applying the things that I'm giving to them, and all credit goes to them and to their mamas and their dads who are supporting them and encouraging them and walking through the muck with them. So it is such a beautiful thing to have an outside person see your child and recognize the brilliance in them and to help build them and help support mom and dad in that process. It's the most beautiful thing.
And what I love is, last thing, when we get on with a new assessment and we see this child and they're usually very broken, and you can see their sadness, and you can see that they don't feel that they have any worth. And a lot of times they'll even say right in their session, I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I can't read. And we can quickly see if this is something that we can help with. It is so quick to be able to see it. And it's so hard for me to hold back my emotion when I see this broken child and I see this heartbroken mom that is sitting next to them, and knowing that what their future is going to be. Because I have been through it with my daughter, but beyond that now, I've seen hundreds of students that have been through it and that have done the same thing, that you, without having a crystal ball, you can see their future. And you can see where they can get to because you automatically know already that they're brilliant. And you can tell them that right off the gate, that I know that you're brilliant. Your mom knows that you're brilliant. Let's get you there so that you believe that you are brilliant and that you can read and that you can go on and do anything that you want in your life. You can have the future that you desire. That is possible. We just got to get that tension released, and we got to get your eyes working together. And they'll look at you and go, okay, crazy lady. But then they go through the program, and that's why we do the benchmark recording, so that they can see their progress and they can see where they're at. And it's a highlight. And we as coaches, we talk about it all the time, where we talk about wins that our students are having and how much we love doing this because we are literally changing futures. We are. We're changing their lives, and it's incredible. And I love it. And I think that it's an amazing blessing from God that this is something that we can help all of these kids with. And I do not deny this at all, that this is all God-driven and that He has a big hand in this, in guiding His children to be able to have the future that He knows they can have. So anyway, thank you. Wonderful Coach's Corner. We plan on doing many more of these, and I can't wait to hear more of our successes and our student stories, and we will talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in to Raising Confident Readers, the Vision Reading Academy podcast. If today's episode got your gears turning, we'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'm Crystal, founder of Vision Reading Academy, reminding you that learning isn't one size fits all, and every child deserves a custom game plan. Until next time, keep it curious, keep it science-based, and as always, keep helping those kiddos thrive.